Only that Dark Rift isn't saving your teammate. So we could see some clutch plays coming out. EG, though, sticking with what's proven to be incredibly strong this patch. Underlord, Ember Spirit. You can't deny the fact that their opening is very, very scary.
I mean, what do we think, guys?
That's pretty terrifying.
Is Ember Spirit soon to be the face of Dota Pit Season 5 right now?
I do think so. I think it's incredibly good versus both these supports, too. Neither of them have like a guaranteed lockdown punch. I guess you have Bite, but Ember is super, maneuverable. He can just kind of like move between those things. And this double combo right here has so much magic damage potential from him, too.
Well, it looks like our 100% pick ban rate on Slaughter will continue here as he does face a ban, and they also get rid of the Jug, too. A typical versatile, like, kind of a core.
Magic damage in the lane, so you can kind of burn down the Pit Lord, so you don't have to, you don't have to always worry about your right clicks, because as we mentioned, Atrophy Aura, damage reduction, especially hurts agility heroes more than anything. I was going to mention too, that's why I kind of like the Witch Doctor and the Pudge too, because these two are not really physical damage dealers. Like Witch Doctor has very good base damage for physical in the laning phase, but Cask, Maledict, Rot versus Underlord, he does not really have to sustain to deal with that in the laning phase. He can get just brought down from that. So it's a clever kind of approach to having these strong lanes.
It's just, you can't help but feel it's very intriguing because it's like, was a Witch Doctor really even going to be banned? Did you have to lead him first? Are you trying to mind game a little bit with it? It's just, it's very unique.
He's put it out there. But like you said,
yeah, this is my nuts.
Witch Doctor. Exactly.
Moving through for the bans here, the Timbersaw's got to go here from the side of Evil Geniuses, and of course you got to give the respect to Ice on that one here. Yeah. We didn't get to talk much about him. He's a powerhouse for this team. When you look at a team and you're like, who's got to step up and perform to be able to have success? Would you say Ice is one of those people for Faceless?
Yeah, we said the same thing at Boston too. We were like, if Ice has like a rough game, then Faceless has a rough game.
Yeah.
So he was the big ones that stood out in mind for me was the Timbersaw and the Nyx Assassin. He was ridiculously space making on that. Nyx always making every single one of the first moves for his team on that one. So I think that one could be a potential ban coming up from EG.
Yeah, definitely. The Nyx we saw it yesterday in a few games. Didn't necessarily win the games. I think it was in the IGOG series where actually it was the VPOG. I think where Nine Pasha was playing the Nyx Assassin, and we saw him set up kills on Tanner in the mid lane on his Ember Spirit 3 times in the very early game. So very annoying for the Ember Spirit, but as we saw, doesn't necessarily win you the game. As if EG Samel's able to play as well as Anna, which I'm sure he will do on the Ember Spirit, you can recover after a bad laning stage. But the thing is with Samel, he probably isn't going to have a bad laning stage. Samel, very renowned for his performance in the mid. Jab Stinker being banned out, something that we've seen quite a bit recently from Faceless in the recent Star Series qualifiers.
Yeah, respect bans. Timbersaw and the Tinker, for sure.
Yeah.
Very intrigued to see where Faceless go from here, just based on their first 2 picks. The Pudge obviously could really be up in the air as far as where it's going to be going, but now they can kind of reveal their hand a bit further. I don't know if seeing the Ember will prompt any sort of response here, a way to kind of control them, lock them down a bit. We didn't see much of it yesterday. It felt like for most of the Ember games, he was almost able to kind of roam free a bit, and most of the teams that he opposed didn't really have too many options on kind of keeping him in his place. So I wonder if it's something Faceless are going to kind of put more favor into. I mean, I always think of like something like a Disruptor to kind of help in that case, but I don't know how strong a Witch Doctor Disruptor support duo.
I was going to say, I think normally if they pick a Disruptor, Nuts, he'll play that instead of the Witch Doctor. So yeah, whether they pick it together.
I don't like Core Pudge either. I think this has to be their dual support combo.
Yeah.
It's been really strong too with the way that you can pull the off lane, pull the mid lane too. I want to see if Black kind of do that to kind of abuse them. So they go for the Weaver here. So the hero that's been seeing a lot more favor coming out too, just because of the way the talents work for him, and he just feels a lot stronger in this patch in 7.01.
Does this tell us any more about where he's going to be though? I mean, we saw IG yesterday kind of pull out some funky draft maneuvers here. I don't know if we know Faceless do the same. I mean, has Faceless even ever bothered trying to do any sort of support Weaver action?
I think last time they played it, XY was playing it, and I think it was in a game where Black played the Pudge roaming around, so they do play as the core Weaver.
Ooh, the mighty Disco Goat.
Interesting as well, because I mean, I guess we saw it actually at Genting in both the support and core positions, and of course it does look to be in that support role. I mean, already this is pretty terrifying. If Underlord catches anyone in his pit, you have the chains. That's going to kind of be long enough to initiate a second proc at the root. You have the control from Leshrak's stun. I mean, if you get caught in that pit in the mid-game fights, you're probably dying. The Nyx Assassin pick is nice, though. It's an answer to the Ember, and it's very good against Leshrac.
I think you have to pick the Nyx there. I think it's one of Ice's best heroes for this team. It fits perfectly. And the hero that was kind of left alone and forgotten, this is the Luna. EG takes it up. So now Leshrac, Luna, this is a very strong lane already coming out from these two. Now they have multiple different forms of objective taking too with the Edict and the Lunar Blessing. So they can have even more group up with the Underlord, which benefits them very heavily. While you look at Faceless' lineup, those 4 heroes matching up with EG's, if EG gets like that ball unit, I think it's going to be pretty hard for Faceless to defend those early towers.
I'm a little concerned with Faceless' team fight now. I'm seeing a wealth of it on Evil Genius' side. I mean, yeah, you got the Coconut and a Death Ward here, but other than that, it feels a little single target heavy. You know, Pudge Dismember Hook, Weaver's got a single target, Nyx is usually focusing down on one. They might need something to kind of spread a bit of the damage and love here. Get some AoE, get some team fight going. But we'll have to see if their draft will permit it or not.
They've been favoring the Shadow Fiend a lot too, but I'm not sure how well that favors against an Ember Spirit. I think it takes a little bit too long to get online.
I think you were saying yesterday a nightmare matchup for Ember Spirit was typically an Invoker. Is there any chance we could see that here for Faceless at all?
Quaswex Invoker, it's good in the laning phase, but later on Ember can start to recover because he just becomes that huge nuisance. But it could be, but I think Black is usually the one who plays their Invoker.
So they have 2 amazing Invoker players on this team,
yeah.
Ice, and Black, of course. But
those guys are more of Exort players as well.
That's true, that's true.
They could definitely pick it up, though.
Yeah, I do think so.
Maybe that's just like kind of the edge that Faceless need over some of these teams, is just kind of having that versatility, being able to juggle around the heroes, juggle around their players a bit, just kind of being in tune with what they feel what win condition is going to be necessary for them.
I wouldn't mind the Invoker because it gives them team fight. Like we're saying, they're lacking a bit of that. The other one that it's not really team fight or anything, but we did see at ESL just for the laning phase was the Ursa versus the Ember Spirit, and just for the lane matchup. But I don't really.
They do play
the
Ursa Faceless, yeah.
Yeah, they do play it. That's why it's like it kind of comes to mind, but I'm not really too crazy about it this game versus EG.
It feels like they're just be locking in on one particular person. It's like, you know, that one person though, he's going to feel it. But everyone else, they might be able to kind of attune and help out, and Underlord could quickly come in and just kind of, you know, totally divert everything Faceless were going.
I mean, it feels you need a core. It feels that there's going to be building a BKB early on, because otherwise you're turning up to these fights and EG just has so much control and magical damage.
Such a shame that Gyrocopter isn't a big thing, you know. When you're talking about a BKB team fighter,
back in the day,
that's what I think about. But
I think Shadow Fiend, right? BKB fighter.
Yeah,
he has like magic damage as well as mixed physical. He gives you, team fight stuff, and it's what they really like. I'm trying to think what other heroes they really favor. It's the OD, I guess.
They played the TA in the mid, but this is not a nice game for TAs. No, there's so many ways to break through the refraction.
Yeah, I think OD, Shadow Fiend are the two that stand out the most for me that would fit for Faceless' lineup, just to give them mixed damage, more AoE, and more team fight potential into the early game. But see what EG decides. They actually do ban the Ursa, so they don't want to deal with that disgusting matchup for the Ember Spirit. And they grab a Venge. So Venge, Leshrac, Luna is probably one of the stronger tri-lanes. Mixed damage. Dual auras.
Yeah,
Very
EG.
strong.
I mean, their lineup just looks absolutely terrifying. There's so many ways you can die to that, you know, throughout just every part of the game. Early game is going to be strong. Mid game, their team fight's going to be insane. Late game, they've got the Luna, the Ember Spirit to cover it.
I think the Venge pickup is perfect here.
Yeah.
It's like everything you need. They have such a good mixed variety inside of their lineup, damage potential from everybody, objective takers.
Yeah, another way
everything you need
to bail out someone who's getting locked down by all these other heroes here. It's feeling pretty good top to bottom.
They do go with the Invoker.
But they get the Invoker. All right.
They go with it, the signature. But as you said, maybe going to be forced to play it a little differently to how the players would have normally liked to back in the Quasixort days.
Who's playing the Pudge? Who's playing the Invoker here? This is going to be very intriguing from Faceless right now, but I'm already... I mean, I don't want to go in for predictions here, but I'm already leaning towards EG for the draft.
Leaning toward EG, I do... Yeah, I think their lineup's just actually just way too good, to be honest with you. They have 3 of the strongest heroes, in my opinion, in this patch.
Yeah. I feel that this game 1 is going to show us why Underlord's going to be banned every other game today.
That's a fair assessment right there. Let's see if that's going to be the case or not. Let's go ahead and throw it over to our Australian pair of casters right now. It's Toby Wan and Gods. Take it away, gentlemen.
Oh, I should say thanks, mate. Dakota. Hi, Gods. Hello. Oh, okay. Well, we just blew up Australia. We are here to do Faceless versus EG, game number 1. As Dakota said, I'm Toby Wan. I am joined by Gods. And, well, we got what we were looking for, right? We got really stable draft out from EG that they could really capitalize on all their lanes. And Faceless, we got random. Not all random, it's still very Faceless, but it's out of the meta to start off with a Witch Doctor and Pudge.
It's really Faceless kind of going for comfort picks, a lot of it. I mean, Nuts became known for his Witch Doctor. You go back to when he was playing with MVP a couple TIs ago, it was the Nuts Witch Doctor. You've got Black playing Pudge, and you've got Jabs playing Invoker, one of his signature mid-heroes that he got recognized for in the pub scene before getting picked up by some of these top teams. So Faceless going for some signature kind of more quote-unquote pub-style heroes. E.g., you kind of mentioned safe, stable. They're going to play the farming game, the efficiency game. They've got 3 cores that all want to get items, all want to get farms, so very likely we see them just try and out-farm and be a bit more efficient than Faceless and avoid the aggression and ganks. Yeah, the Faceless squad.
Until they're ready to fight. And this is something which I know we were talking about a little bit during the drafting phase. I got to watch a lot of Faceless during a tournament recently in Thailand. It was actually one of the first ones done on this patch. And Faceless, while they did get to the grand final, they always had issues with Underlord. They always had issues around that 15 to 20 minute mark where the Underlord just came online. He had all the negated aura up and running. He had pipe up and running, and they just couldn't do any level of damage. So I want to see if Faceless are able to be ready for that fight when EG is ready to engage, or if they try and disrupt the lanes earlier.
Well, EG's going to be running an aggro tri-lane by the looks of things, so they're thinking they can get more farm and be more efficient by contesting the lanes. Underlord can get the 1v1 matchup. The tri-lane down bottom can put a lot of pressure onto a Weaver. So with no sentries actually in this tri-lane. Even without sentries, like Weaver's going to get bullied. Like he has to hold on to that. If he ever uses that Shikuchi, gets caught by a magic missile, the chain stun will burst him down. So this is a very tough lane for XY to be playing in.
Maybe it's also the time for Faceless to switch it up. Just to confirm too, this is Ice 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 on the Nexus Assassin. I believe we confirmed it was also XY, who is confused about his name.
So we'll see what the play is going to be. Zai lurking around down bottom, but
it's interesting when you're on an aggro tri-lane. I thought they would have put their ward like in behind the tower, so you would see a little bit more about what's happening on that lane, as opposed to in the tree line where they have it.
Yeah, I guess you're not going to be diving that tower right away. That ward behind the tower is more used for when you're actually pushing and going really aggressive underneath the tower. During the laning stage, you want to just be able to protect yourself from rotations, which is where that ward, if someone TPs to the tower, they're going to have to swoop through the jungle, so the ward will still see them. So it's a little bit more defensive in nature. You're never really sure where the Pudge is going to be, and this is going to keep him well aware. Speaking of Pudge, he is doing those annoying off-lane pulls, which is going to kind of slow down some of Universe's farm, but this is also the other reason why EG said they're trailing down bottom.
Perfect Searing Chain, Zai just rotates over, and that is one of the most simplest combinations you could ever find. And there's no Vision looking for it. In fact, speaking of Vision, I see one Radiant Ward blocking. Where is the other?
Nuts is still holding on to it. He's just jungling right now as Witch Doctor, which is also a bit curious. He's not looking to help. I think he realizes he can't do anything bottom lane against a tri-lane, but by not helping the lane, this frees up Leshrac. That's why Leshrac is able to easily roam around, put pressure on, go for the mid lane, because this Witch Doctor has had 0 lane presence so far. He just jungled up, got his level 2, which is nice, but he really needs to impose himself on this bottom lane.
Rather difficult to do with that Observer Ward, and then if this is going to push out.
There's a hook from Black potentially.
He's got both the hook as well as the rod.
He's got to wait for the hook so they get Universe low enough so he can't TP.
Yeah. You see Universe trying to cut his way back through the tree line with a Quelling Blade. Just causing a couple of problems for him, and does as much damage as he can. May as well spill out the mana. He knew he was dead.
Yeah. Well played. A lot of Pudges there would just go for the hook and be like, yeah, look at me. I hit a hook. I made a good play. And then Underlord TP's out and you've missed the kill. So well executed there. They get off to at least a good start in the off lane, but that's a lane they've prioritized winning, and they're winning it against an Underlord. It's really the other 2 lanes that you've got to worry about more if you're Faceless.
Well, hello hook. Black going to go over towards Zai. Get a little bit of extra help with a double stun. In from Ice 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 with the Spy Carapace as well. They can return the double stun. So Zai's Edict works against him for a short period of time.
Yep. Another good move from the Pudge. Gets Faceless their second kill. Kills is still not enough. You look at the CS, they're losing the lanes right now. So even though it's like an active Black Pudge that's getting kills up top, it's still a lost mid lane, a lost bottom lane. Luna free farming, Ember free farming. This is still very concerning for Faceless, despite those 2 kills.
Yeah.
And the Exort Invoker is very vulnerable to pressure from Ember Spirit. Not going for the Quas Wex means Jabs has to play very well, very defensively. He's going to be much more kind of farm-centric rather than tempo controlling with this Invoker.
TC's trying to get a little bit more of this experience. This was not meant to be for a Radiant pull. This is meant to be for the Dire side camp. I'm actually going to go again for mid. No, Zai doesn't land the hoof. No, doesn't land the stomp. The hooves remain in the air.
And then Black continuing to jungle. He's done a very impressive job as far as linking the camps together. He's stacked at mid lane. They've gone in again, and Jabs this time will have the tornado.
So it was actually down on bottom lane where Crit and Arteezy combo together. That's where Zai was running too, so Ember Spirit, it looked like he was starting up the fight, but now Nuts a little bit too far up. Zai actually had some decent vision, able to get the stun, hasn't triggered Edict just yet. Needs a little bit more help from Elusive Beam, but with Arteezy and Crit still, well, regenerating after the last engagement, they weren't ready to fight.
Yeah, with the Exo Invoker, you're hoping that the other lanes can perhaps set up kills for the Sunstrikes, but we're just not really seeing opportunities down bottom. The top lane, they're getting the kills just with the Pudge and not needing the Sunstrike, so not quite the full potency out of this Invoker. And I think it's time for Black to either help mid or help bottom. He is lining up the hook and hits at mid.
And that's going to be a big one if they can keep Samael controlled just before he gets level 6. He's still burning down Black very quickly. It jabs the damage, the output. He'll get the last hit in. Zai turns on the Edict, but the creep wave will be there to help tank it up.
Nicely played, and they've got the Shrine as well, so they don't even have to go Fountain. Jabs trying to just get those last couple of creeps, but we'll make sure that he doesn't waste too much time. Black level 4 now, his Pudge very active, and very important that he finds these kills, because Faceless' lanes were basically set up to kind of lose the lanes, but hopefully get enough kills that they can make up for getting out-farmed.
It's also another trade which we see Faceless do a hell of a lot with this Nyx Assassin. You get him up to level 6, and then you'll start to see heavy rotations come in from Ice. They'll try and become a lot more of a presence on the field. Luckily, he's fantastic against heroes like Ember Spirit, who are also getting called out. The hook will land, and Black able to capitalize on Samael. At the same time, down on bottom lane, it's going to be a 1-1 trade-off, but you're trading off your Luna. And confused, XY trying to get up towards Crit, and Crit still hasn't got rid of that bug. He's actually ticking out just to the bug, so a double kill for the Weaver. That is much needed experience and gold coming the way of the Weaver.
Yeah, when you've got 6 CS on Weaver at 5.5 minutes in the game, that double kill makes a world of difference if he can stay alive here.
That's a bigger challenge. Zai trying to land this stun. They move around in the paralyzing cast. Nuts, this is one of his fun heroes. Always throwing a spanner into the works.
Yeah. See what XY looks to. He's going to stay in this bottom lane with the Clarity Tango, and the 2 kills in a row on Sumail. He was doing very well, winning the mid lane pretty hard, and just got baited in by the Invoker there, using the slight Searing Chains aggressively, and Invoker just said, I've got a Pudge nearby, I'm going to Tornado you, set up a hook for Black, and there's some easy kills as Black is very close to hitting a good timing on his level 6. Well,
there's going to be a lot more space made in the lanes. I'm still waiting for Ice to move off this top lane. He seems to be very happy just sitting up here. Like, he didn't actually go for the full EE build with the 3 mangoes, but with Arcane Boots and double mangoes, he's got no issues whatsoever in this lane when Universe hasn't really had the same presence I was expecting him to have. And Black, well, this is an easy way to do it. Hook him in, rot him down. Universe will go the way of Black, while Zai will be able to end the dominating streak. You're still keeping the Underlord down. It's going to be delaying the big ball timing of EG.
You will have your vengeance, Spirit.
Okay for Faceless, it's a big streak, and Leshrex to kind of support that can do a lot with farm, so perhaps really not a great trade for the Pudge who's on that big kill streak. But even so, it's still the aggression from Faceless. It's the right idea. They want to get the Nyx probably involved fairly soon. He's hit level 7. He's trying to pressure the tower now. He realizes this top lane's being vacated, so he's drawing off the Dire creep wave. He wants to take this tier 1 before he starts rotating around.
This is going to force EG into a more defensive position, commit more wards to actually defend, even though we see Zai just dropping that new ward down behind the tier 1 tower on the top lane.
And he's crushed this top lane. He's got double the net worth of the Underlord, thanks to the Pudge's presence up here. So it is going to have to be Ice who starts getting active and making plays.
Oh, the Sunstrike! Samael, I don't know if he was actually trying to dodge it, but he walked back into Jabs' Sunstrike.
That was good from Jabs. This guy knows how to play some Invoker.
And it's the dream kind of situation now. So the Ember Spirit, 3 deaths, no kills, sitting at 2.8k net worth. The top 2 net worths belong to Faceless' off lane as well as their mid lane.
Yeah, this is suddenly turning around very well for them after the the laning setup not going great for the mid or bottom lane. Top lane, Sunstrike, Vendetta, they've got it. Oh boy, he was so close to completing the TP, and Jabs got in there just in time.
You're rolling so much money into this Invoker. Like, he's got the Hand of Midas in his stash. We're 8 minutes and 20 seconds in, and the Hand of Midas is just waiting for the courier to come back to base. He was the only delay he's got.
Yeah, he was getting crushed mid initially, but things have turned around very quickly, and now Black with a level 6 Pudge is sitting around looking for that hook Dismember, and Sumail does not have a Remnant up.
Oh, he's got it. The hook straight into Sunstrike. Sumail, the Dismember will hold him there, and the damage will be enough. Jabs gets another kill, racking up now 4 within 9 minutes on the Invoker.
Suddenly Faceless like just flip a switch and playing some of the best Dota we've seen them play in a long time, and EG, they've still, I mean, this is kind of EG. You see them fall behind in the early game lane stage often. You see them maybe give up some kills, but as long as they're getting their farm, they're okay with it. But the problem is they're not really keeping up in terms of farm. Arteezy's doing decent in the bottom lane, but Sumail's couple of deaths sets him back, and EG will be looking to group up, make some plays. They are kind of converging on this bottom lane.
The hook, the paralyzing cast won't bounce over. Blast going to cop a hell of a lot of this, including the Eclipse. So the Pudge tanks most of it. Question is, how heavily does Faceless try and defend? This is everyone from EG on bottom lane. All 5 heroes, the TPs begin. If they can get out, no, there will be at least one rooting over on Nuts. You can basically say both the supports of Faceless die, the tier 1 tower will be claimed, but that's all Faceless lose early on for a 5-man movement of EG.
Yeah, it's very definitely the good call there. A lot of teams may have tried to defend with the Nyx. Like, you're probably thinking like, okay, let's defend this. Nyx can TP in, but they've got sentry wards right on top of the tower. If Nyx TPs in and dies, that's a huge loss for Faceless. That's how they throw away their early game lead.
They tried it again.
Mid lane. Oh, Weaver. He's done for, but Jabs not going to get a return kill as well.
He's trying to just escape for the moment. Just trying to keep my eyes on this wonderful combination. This hook into Sunstrike, and they try and do it as a big prediction. And Black's looking at another target. Arteezy is making this very easy for him. Yeah. Stand still, rot, Dismember, and here comes the Sunstrike. Waited up just long enough. And Black, he is a catalyst now to just pump up and fuel this Invoker.
That is scary how active and involved he has been. 4-2 and 3 so far. Ice has just been farming away at this top lane, and with a Midas, he's going to hit a very fast level 10, level 11. He is storming ahead with the Invoker as well. Both this Nyx and Invoker are well ahead in terms of overall farm and levels, something that EG can't really keep up with. It's a level 7 Luna. When you run this off-lane Luna in like a duel or trialing, you're not getting the normal experience. That's slightly off the mark, but
I think he was expecting like Zai to next level him and dodge hook, and now with the rot into a Dismember, you do actually have that small little hole, but with the Death Ward Nuts, you know what, so he normally overcommits for it, and that's exactly what happened there.
Ice showing how to miss an impale on a stun hero. But look, he's got plenty of time. He's doing well.
It's Crocodile Test, man. It's false sense of security.
Yeah, he's making EG think, oh, this guy can't hit a stun. We don't have to worry about him, but
what about Black needs to
he can hit a hook.
Black needs to free up some space. He mangoes over on Pudge. So he's got the mana. Really? Okay, that's a big one. Sumail actually gets him solo onto the tower. Looks like a full spirit committal to make it happen.
Them all up, so probably went for the triple aggressive Remnant, and Jabs wasn't ready for it.
That's a lot of money. 729 gold just from that. That finishes up Sumail's Veil.
Yeah, that's a pretty big kill to give up. Ooh, that hook hit. Sumail did not have a Remnant to escape. Black trying to punish the Ember Spirit for using all of those Remnants aggressively, and yeah, with the Veil completed, suddenly Sumail is kind of back in the game on par with the Invoker. That's the kind of kill you do not want to be giving up, and a big mistake.
An easier kill up on top lane. Nuts gets caught out by crit, followed up with Zai, and this is where EG's lineup can do a lot of damage, while Sumail might have to battle it out on the bottom. He's got one spirit to get further away. Universal trigger the shrine, so Nyx Assassin does not want to go into this.
Black couldn't hit the hook, Ice was in the way, then Ice is trying to run in and ends up getting hooked back, so we can't impale. That was not the best coordination from the Faceless ganking duo. But still, they get the tier 1 mid tower. Ice in a position to still set up on Sumail, but even with a Sunstrike, not sure they have the damage for this kill. Level 2 Vendetta may be just enough.
If I can just find a weakened hero who's farming, that'll be an easier one.
Yeah,
should also flag the fact that Sumail was able to deny that mid tower. So it wasn't even a straight tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade.
Yeah, this last couple of minutes has been a bit of a drop-off in Faceless's play. We saw the solo kill on the Invoker, the pick-off at top. EG, as a result, get a couple of towers. They deny mid, so has been a nice little turnaround for EG here the last couple of minutes, and we haven't really seen Ice able to get too involved on that Nyx too recently, but he's vendetted up. We'll be looking to go aggressive again, but a lot of sentry wards around this middle lane. If he walks into one of them, it could be a quick pick-off going the way of EG on a key hero.
Speaking of the sentry, they're going to lose that one. Black just threw that one down, saw the sentry wall, but didn't want to put himself in harm's way to get rid of the sentry that's sitting in that mid lane river.
Luka.
He's scouting Roshan for now.
Like, where was that Sunstrike?
Yeah.
Trying to get his Yules up. Once he has the Yules, he can instantly purge off the Flame Guard without having... He doesn't want to use Tornado because he's only got 1 point in Wex. He's going more for a Forward Spirit, Sunstrike type build. So he doesn't want to have to go Tornado to break the Flame Guard, but with the Yule Scepter, he's got an easy way to do it, as well as easy way to set up a Sunstrike combo.
Black knew, as they show in the range, he knew that Xayah was just a little bit too far away to land with a hook. There's top lane Samel trying to go onto Ice, who has to spike Carapace as well as uses Impel Stun to keep Ember Spirit away. But jump up from Samel, doesn't find his target. Maybe thinking the Nyx Assassin was going to be TPing out.
Yeah, Lesh is in the neighborhood, but doesn't have any detection as well, and Ice may actually go for that kill with a Sunstrike.
And no one's actually getting detection. Crit's going to get caught out, so there's Vendetta hit with the stun. Where's the follow-up damage? Does he have enough? With Spike Carapace, at least he can turn a little bit around here. Yeah, he waited for it, and so did Xayah. He almost baited it out, and this will allow EG to attack if they wanted to into the Nyx. They just can't keep the chase up.
Yeah, Sunstrike was used for the Venge kill, it looks like, so Ice didn't have that follow-up damage from the Invoker to get the kill, but not the end of the world. Invoker did actually then go for the Sunstrike. Xayah back to base. EG support's fairly poor right now. It's definitely a concern for them that they don't have at least one of their supports getting decent farm. Lesh has got the Arcane Boots, but that's really about it. On the Faceless side, you've got a Pudge who's got a Midas. He's going to suddenly start power leveling. He can quickly farm up a Blink Dagger with this, get an Ag Scepter. He's kind of guaranteeing some semblance of late game farm by going for this early Midas, as well as a lot of levels coming his way. Maxing out that Flesh Heap at a decent early time is going to make him a whole lot tankier and harder to kill.
It's unbelievable actually how many Midases they are running. Like, 15, 16 minutes in, you got 3 Midases over on Faceless.
And they're winning like the early game too, while they're getting Midases.
Oh, looks like a bit of a swap. Initiation over on the Spike Carapace next. He'll buy a little bit of space and time, especially for Black, to hook out the Vengeful Spirit with a Death Ward. EG are on the run. Arteezy is way too low. He's got to get rid of the Scarab Beetle on his back, but the bigger problem is actually going to be Universe trapped in the river, away from the rest of EG. A quick hook, pulling out jabs away from the Son of Zion and away from the control of Samael. EG retreat back up to their shrine. There's no charge on it. It ends up just being a 1-for-1 trade-off.
I mean, it's a good move and timing from EG. They've got the mech, they've got a strong 5-man, they've got a Luna with Eclipse. They wanted to fight, but they took a lot of damage on Luna. They're lucky they had the mech to keep Arteezy alive with like 1,500 HP on the strength creds, and the mech, he only barely survived all that burst damage. Invoker slightly mistimed the Yules combo onto the Underlord as well. Not sure he would have got the kill anyways, but you can really see how strong Faceless' teamfight is right now and how much damage output they have, because they're fighting with triple minuses against an EG 5-man smoke when EG just got mech, and it still felt like Faceless almost win that fight.
Yeah, and that's just almost, I would almost say unheard of when you have that Underlord too. Like, that mech fight is meant to be your big thing. It's like seeing a Blink Dagger over on a Slaughter. It's your big reveal and your big advantage gainer. But it just doesn't happen. Now Arteezy gets caught out. Black will get the hook into Dismember. Sunstrike's coming in, and it will be Black who actually finds the last bit of damage to kill off Artur.
That's another kill for the Pudge. 1,500 gold. That Blink is coming sooner and sooner. The Weaver, the one here on Faceless, that is one of their kind of key cores, at least as far as dealing out damage the longer this game goes, that isn't farming particularly well. The net worth is less than the Pudge even, but XY has been somewhat stacked this game. And I mean, Black he's the one position player on Faceless typically, except when they have this Pudge. It's kind of like the exception where he takes the Pudge and likes to roam around with it and will kind of forgo playing that carry role. And then they put XY in this kind of tempo controlling carry that doesn't really get much farm priority.
XY is going to be forced a little bit further back on that bottom lane. I think he understands there's more of EG behind. Even though the vision isn't there, they got one ward in the mid lane, and they got another ward sitting deeper inside the EG jungle. And both of these wards still only reveal the Vengeful Spirit, so EG definitely grouping up. And they jump in. They're looking for him, and XY is too quick away.
Yep. This is like kind of his job, just soak up the pressure, farm in the dangerous places, using the fact you've got time-lapse Shukuchi to escape. And if you get 5-man ganked and died, you're a Weaver. You're creating space for your Midas teammates to farm and kind of get it further ahead. If you're being 5-man ganked, your team are definitely out-farming EG, and EG's typically a team that likes to kind of be the ones playing the efficiency game, and double sentry gets used, gets missed. This is a lot of wasted time for EG. This is Faceless farming heavily up top at mid in the enemy jungle. EG not getting towers, at least not yet from this, so this is looking really good for Faceless right now.
Wasted time, wasted money, no real income coming in. You got to commit 5 heroes to even push into a tier 2 tower. So if you get the money from that, fantastic. But the trade-off is Faceless are still getting more out of this map.
They'll get tier 2 of their own. They even delay it a little bit with the Swarm. I've been very impressed with XY's play. Even though he's underfarmed, he's been sacrificed, he's just done all the small little things to buy time and make it, basically set up his teammates to shine. And that's exactly what Jabs and Black have really done on this Invoker Pudge duo. Finding kills all over the map. They're going to get a tier 2 tower for their efforts up top, so it's a tier 2 for a tier 2, and EG are heavily 5-manning, which means they are missing out on farm compared to the Faceless squad, who are split up, and as we keep on saying, they've got Midases. Triple Midas means big money coming their way continuously.
I was wondering if EG even felt so pressured in this game they'd start chipping away at the tier 3 tower, force Faceless to break this rhythm of farming wherever the hell they want to.
It's very dangerous because of the Pudge is the main problem. Like a Pudge defending high ground hooks one hero in, and suddenly that hero is either dead or you've maybe lost more because everyone else tries running in to save them.
Blink is up. Yeah. Nuts is already in the high ground position. He's in a death ward position where if EG dive under the tower, he'll get a full death ward channel off, and he knows it too. Right. Now he moves in through the side. Look at that paralyzing cast to fly out. Here she blows, and Leshrac, well, they are backing out from the tier 1 tower. With the pit down, Faceless can't really just run at EG.
Yeah, Black will be looking for the hook, but it's Crit who has the swap to try and save whoever gets pulled out.
But Black also has the Blink Dagger, so he's not ready for this. This is the first reveal. And then Hawk able to grab in the Underlord. Okay.
Yeah, he's hoping for like a Luna or an Ember Spirit there, and perhaps they try and force a fight, but even if one of those heroes gets caught, it's still very dangerous.
Simogus is tearing chains off. Nyx Assassin tries to turn around with a Spy Carapace, actually setting up 3 with the Paralyzing Cards and Sunstrike. Pulls him in, the Deafening Blast, a Meteorite, burning Sumail, as well as Arteezy on the back lines. The Paralyzing Cards control them so well. Another Spy Carapace done too. Universe is just trying to bail him out of here, running close and just retreat back over. No, I don't know why he's still here. Did he actually not get caught inside the ulti? It's a double kill for Black. And Universe went back to the shrine. Did he inch out at the last moment?
I don't know. It looked like Leshrac was the one who was not going to be caught inside, but Zai managed to just get into the Dark Rift in time. Maybe he remnant back right afterwards. That was definitely one to rewatch, but
in the middle of a sleight of fist, but only hit one target. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Black is already on the aggressive. He's going to perhaps catch Zai up top.
And waiting for it, gets the hook into Dismember, and Sunstrike once again, rinse, repeat, and bathe yourself in the blood of EG.
Suddenly what was like a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes ago, like a 1300 HP Pudge, just gained 1,000 hit points. You're suddenly level 14, you get your Flesh Sheep, you get a few more levels, and you get a whole lot tankier. This Pudge is going to be a true call, has 2k net worth more than the bottom lane farming Weaver. I don't think we can really call it the safe lane anymore.
It's funny too, because like you always see Black, and you always like Black has this reputation of being the hard one, the guy who farms on the safe lane. But he started just by pulling off the camps. Oh, okay, Paralyzing Cuts, it has to create more space. Nuts is burning inside the Flame Guard. Sunstrike comes in, but Samel's already dead. Crit's going to join him in Universe. The Tornado, it won't grab him, but you still have the Yule Scepter. They're running close. They look for the extra spill damage, and 5 heroes from Faceless. Now it's their turn to group up, and it's their turn to find 3 very quick and easy kills for no cost.
Faceless are just plowing through EG at this point there. The casks from Nuts, both last fight and that fight right there, have been absolutely incredible. Isis is always in a really good aggressive position. He's the one who kind of, quote-unquote, gets caught. Like, he's the one that EG first run into, and it's a big problem because as long as he gets the Carapace off, EG can't really commit too many spells on him, and he just sets up for the rest of his teammate. That Carapace stun sets up his own Impale, sets up a hook, sets up a Sunstrike. There's enough stuns on like the supporting cast that this Pudge is always getting these good hooks off, and He's going to have an Aether Lens soon.
I like how Ice is not even deterred. He understands he just ran underneath the Sentry Ward. He's looking for the Sun over on Zai. Zai quickly pushes himself away with the Force Staff after getting hit by Vendetta.
Interesting little Yules pickup, but again, we've seen what this can do as far as breaking the Flame Guard of the Ember Spirit, setting up for these stuns, the hooks, the impales. Yules are very nifty item to get, and even if you get gone on, like if there's an Eclipse being used or you get Searing Chains, you can just self-Yules to keep yourself alive that little bit longer.
I always just love the interaction of the hook. Like, that's like, okay, I'll just run in, I'm going to hook you, just Yules you up, and you always get a guaranteed hook then. The easier setup of your life.
Smell at mid, doesn't want to get too close. He's certainly not looking quite as scary as he did earlier on in this game. The Blink Veil, all he has, and this Boots of Travel isn't going to suddenly make him a scarier teamfight. It'll give him a lot more split push and ability to move around the map, but it's still going to be Faceless who have a big advantage come teamfights. Level 17 Invoker, 17 Nyx Assassin. The level discrepancy is where things really feel kind of separated between these two teams.
Faceless just getting so much more on the map because they could be so much more free to roam around and not have to be grouped up as fives and having to share experience all the time. And you can see it in the graphs. Like, you're sitting around 12,000 advantage in favor of Faceless, and just experience alone, a long way over the gold advantage.
Everyone on Faceless looks so squishy compared to... Oh, sorry, on EG looks so squishy compared to Faceless. Like, you've got the highest HP hero at like 1500 on the Luna. On the Faceless side, you've got this 2.7k HP Pudge. You've got an 1800 HP Invoker with elusive spells, 1700 on Ice Ice Ice. It just feels like Faceless is so much more sustained just through raw stats and HP in these fights.
And they're really trying to keep this one little dominant creep out. Even paralyzing casting. If that's not like an indication they're doing Roshan, I don't know what is. But it's still going to be way too late. You TP over, but it's already done. Roshan belongs to Faceless. Black's actually looking for a hook to get this fight on, and he got it! He actually grabs some mail. The Spirit's away, but you won't have enough life to survive the engagement. In time to Spirit out, and now you also get the Tornado. The rooting can beat there, but a quick jump in from Ice 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 gets the double stun. Zai's in a huge amount of issues. Yule Scepter up, another hook. Black will miss this one, but the Leshrac will still die. Another Yule Scepter. They just keep chaining one after the other, and evil geniuses are dropping like flies.
Yeah, this is what we saw yesterday from Ramses on the Drow. Like, okay, this game's gone to shit. Let's just go farm the enemy jungle. Let's stay as far away from their aggression as possible by playing on their side of the map. The pick-off potential of this Faceless draft is just continuing to shine. And, well, Black, he's looking for another. The Aether Lens. Lens it up, misses that. If he hits it, it's with a Sunstrike. I think he actually gets that kill. The Aether Lens hook damage with a Dismember. And towers are falling now with Faceless getting all these kills. Just one tier 2 remains before we'll see the shrine start falling.
And then EG are just going to start crumbling at that point. Because they can't even leave the base at the moment. Like, if that tier 2 tower drops and you've got no ability to TP out, or you even have that regeneration potential, like fighting underneath the shrines, like, that's something you can work with.
Faceless are really showing how to play against the Ember Spirit. They've kind of counterpicked it really well. It's almost a bit surprising EG left Nyx Assassin in the pool, because they could have banned it out in the second stage. Instead, we saw bans on some of the more signature heroes like the Timbersaw. But as a result, where we stand is this aggressive ganking lineup, the Nyx and Pudge just time and time again fighting them. It's actually been more the Pudge, to be fair. Like, it's not like it's single-handedly the Nyx ruining Ember's day. Pudge has been the much bigger playmaker in terms of just overall kill involvement. It's just 21 of the 25 kills.
It's the fact that Nyx was able to get so much out of the off lane. And then Black and looking for another hook. And wait till he has that Aghanim Scepter. But yeah, you had both Nyx as well as Pudge both coming online. It's like they never had to sacrifice anyone Faceless. Like, you sacrificed the Weaver and that was all.
He even had a ward there. He had Observer and Sentry. He knew exactly where the Nyx was. He just didn't expect the Nyx to go for that Blink Impale.
And now with Leshrac down, they might be able to force some kind of buyback. The first bit of chip damage into tier 3 towers. It's going to belong to Faceless. Oops! That's not the way that was meant to work. It's meant to be a Yule Scepter into the hook of Black, pulling him back into the middle of Faceless. But doesn't happen. Fortification from EG. They still haven't used that buyback on the Leshrac. 20 seconds till he's back up, and another hook. It lands on Universe. They hold him there. The Sunstrike will do the work. Had the Malik just to ensure it too, and the Death Ward to zone out Faceless so they cannot move forward and engage.
The Venge used the Wave of Terror and got stunned on the Carapace, so he couldn't swap because he was stunned, and a bit of a misplay from Crit.
Sumail Spirit's out. Luckily he doesn't get grabbed by a hook on the way through. The same Pudge was. Even though it feels like that kind of like jerkness attitude now from Faceless, they just run forward. Arteezy can't stand the front lines. You're looking for more Sunstrikes in the back lines, but Arteezy moved forward to try and fight. He'll get picked up by the Tornado. He should be able to survive the fall from that, but it's still the rest of Faceless pushing in to the EG base. And they've really got so much to say and so much survivability that EG have no answer to this. They are losing their racks, and they're losing the game.
This looks very worrying. If they can get out without casualties, Jabs will try cover their two with an ice. Well, he's still got an Aegis, and they may actually try and turn and fight if they hit a hook. That's exactly what Black is looking for.
Zai's going to get that stun off Black. Well, there's a quick Eul Scepter. Tornado going to pick up all three. The Sunstrike's coming down on top of Zai. He kept walking forward, however, so didn't take the damage.
Caution first for Faceless. They could have potentially maybe turned it if they hit like the perfect hook Sunstrikes and got some pickoffs, but much safer. They got a Rax. Objective gaming. Let's get out, let's regroup, wait for our Nyx to come back. That's kind of the key hero that we've seen as far as just being the frontliner, and then go again.
There's one good thing that's happening for EG, and that's Arteezy. Well, the fact that Arteezy
can get a BKB.
Yeah, if he can get a BKB, these fights become a lot more possible for them. If he doesn't, however, then life is going to remain hard. I think life's going to remain hard anyway, but it's
pretty tough. I mean, if you get hooked in, you may get forced to pop a BKB earlier than you'd like. There's a lot of things that can cause them problems. There's now an Invoker BKB, so Luna's, you've got a BKB and you can guarantee getting off an Eclipse, but your right-click damage is still not that impressive. And Pudge with an Aghanim Scepter is going to be a very big problem for EG to deal with.
How do you even stay safe on this map? You don't really have enough money to afford up enough wards. Hook from Black only barely misses crit. But that's thanks to this Observer ward, the one looking over Roshan. So the Aegis Immortal will time out. It's going to be a decently quick spawn for Roshan, a minute and a half out of the potential 3 minutes he has.
They basically just keep playing the pickoff game. They've got good vision, but slightly off the mark again with the hook. And Black's just taking an approach, throw hooks whenever. You'll hit it sooner or later. Seen some misses, but seen a lot of hooks land, and that's how you get EG pulled apart. They're a team that wants to be together as five, and haven't really been allowed to do so.
Look at their sentry coverage here from EG when they pushed up to the shrine.
Well, that's also a lot of money. That's a big reason why this Venge is as poor as she is, even though Leshrac has very little in the way of farm because of how much it had to invest into sentries. And Faceless, they move on in, they get control of the area, they'll take out the shrines and do what they need to do. Should probably pick up a gem at this stage, just to take full control of the map, deny all of EG's vision. They don't have the best gem carrier, I guess, is the main problem, like a range hero to de-ward with.
So you can just give it to the Pudge, he's got 3.2k life.
Yeah, give it to the Pudge is fine. He can't de-ward, but he just needs to find the wards and then call his team over like, hey, come kill this if it's on a cliff or something.
Yep.
Or he blinks up there, but it's more like, as a Pudge, you just don't want to waste your time de-warding. He wants to be active on the map, moving around, so perhaps Witch Doctor gets one, or...
It's also the risk if you do lose it. If you have one bad fight, then you make Weaver's life a little bit more difficult.
Oh yeah, giving away a gem is definitely not something you want to do right now.
Yeah, so why take the risk if you don't have to? Instead, you just jump in with the Nyx Assassin. He's got himself a fresh Shiva's Guard before this fight begins. The Hawk lands from Black, dragging back Zion with a deafening blast. There's no way to really react to it. Same with the Vengeful Spirit and Nuts. It's going to be a full death ward. Arteezy has to stand his ground. Use the 10-second BKB to win a fight with Sumail jumping in. Mass amounts of spirits. There's enough damage there, or is it? No, Black just pulls it back in. He's got so much life. He tanks through so much. Finally, the killing spree will be ended on Black, but really at what cost? EG has lost so much. Universe is locked inside the tree line. The Sunstrike's coming in. That's the death of Universe. And well, you got one.
I mean, that's the thing. The Pudge, with all the kills he's been involved in, has 3.3k HP. That makes such a big difference in the fight. When he has to be a target with an Aghanim Scepter, that hook cooldown is absurd. You can't ignore a Pudge when you've got the hook on a 4-second cooldown, but... Oh no.
It's happening again. Sumail's going to get stunned up. He's bugged up too. Arteezy doesn't get hit by the Tornado. That was actually meant for Arteezy when he TP'd in, but...
That's the 2-carry buybacks. That's both Arteezy and Sumail using buybacks. You're happy if you're Faceless. You've taken the bottom melee racks. You got a tier 3 tower out of it, and both those cores buying back means you're finding one fight and you've put yourself in a good position.
The sentry from Zai. He knew it was there. He knew something was coming. But even with that knowledge,
Well,
life is hard.
this is not a fun lineup to play support against. I'm telling you that, Toby. You see just like a Nyx and you're thinking, I don't want to play support this game. This is not just a Nyx, there's a Pudge and a Weaver. Even Invoker like Sunstrike's are not fun to verse. This is like the nightmare game to be a support. Oh, Sumail. He goes in aggressively with the Remnant.
That's his death.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he could make some
wait,
flashy
what's Universe
play.
doing? Universe is running in too. Zion's in the neighborhood. Throws the stun, but the BKB from the Weaver will dodge it. Universe wants to TP out. The damage from Vendetta, it's enough to kill him, and there it is. GG, well played. EG going for some YOLO plays at the end, but it is Faceless who take the control, keep the control, and take game 1.
What a Pudge performance. Black, hands down MVP of this game. He was so good in the early game. He was moving around, winning that offlane for Ice, and then also prioritizing getting levels in farm. He falls back, he takes the bounty runes, he does the side pulls. Those offlane pulls, we've seen it on the Radiant side with the Pudge, we're seeing it in the offlane with the Pudge, the Earth Spirit. It's very influential because of how much XP you get. Suddenly you're level 3, 2 minutes in the game. It's right by that bounty rune. And then he's able to turn that farming experience into plays around the map. He got kills at top, then he moves mid. He killed Sumail a couple of times. Just all around great plays from Black. Jabs was always there with the Sunstrikes as well. He played a good, very good Invoker. And yeah, Faceless upset EG.
Yeah, there they do in game number 1. I just love the fact they got these really nice combinations. They had a lot of experience on this patch so far, and they've worked out what really works for them without actually having to go outside their comfort zone. You mentioned at the very, very start, this is comforts for Faceless right there, but it's still the combinations which lets you win a game and take game 1 off EG. So we'll see if they can do it again in game 2, or if EG can fight back. We'll come back after the break.